Hey guys, how are you? Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another day in Natasha Denona week. Today I'm gonna have all of the pans from my Natasha Denona eyeshadow palette collection. So if you would like to see a lot of pans, the only pans that are gonna be weird is if you saw yesterday's video, you saw my dream palette, the one that I created it, and I want to keep that palette as a whole. So I will let you know, or you can just go back to the video. I'm going to show that as the pans of the palette, even though they don't belong there. If you have seen yesterday's video, then you know from which palette those shades are. But anyway, I will give you all the information that I can. So if you want to see all of the pans that I have in my Natasha Denona eyeshadows, then just keep on watching. For Cranberry, which I have mentioned before that it's my favorite 5-pan palette. I love the color scheme. I have 5 pans on this palette, and you guys, this is just a lovely palette. I love this shade, and it's a repeat shade from Aries. These two are cream to powder, and they also have pan in them. This is one of my favorite shades. It has pan in it. And then these Chroma Crystal is just so beautiful, and it also has pan in it. So all of the eyeshadows on this palette I have heat pan on. So I'm pretty happy with that. That's the way that I want all of my Natasha Denona eyeshadow palettes to look. Like the majority of the eyeshadows needs to have pan in them. That's why I do the Franken palettes, even though I'm quitting that for a little while. From Aries, this is one that I need to work on a little bit more. I have pan on this shade, which is one that I just showed you from the Cranberry palette. This is one of my favorite Natasha Denona shades, and I have major pan in it. I adore that shade. And then I have no other pans, so far I have 6 pans. Now Hoya is also another one that's broken, and if I could have made a mixture with Hoya and Aries, I would have had an almost perfect palette. So here I have heat pan in 2 shades, and the shades that I have heat pan on are Peach Gold and Star Bronze, which are just beautiful shades. I know that these eyeshadow goes right here. They are messed up because I create Franken palettes, but I have 2 major pans. Now that I have 2 in here, I have 8 pans total so far, only within my small 5-pan palettes. Oh, and then I almost forgot, I have also the Mini Love one. I thought this week I was gonna hit pan in the shade U, the first one right here, but I didn't. I've been using it so much. This is such a beautiful shade. But I have pan in the shade True, which is the inner corner shade right here. So I have a little pan in that one. I would have more pan on this. If I could have just removed the pans from these mini palettes and put them on my Franken palette. And I think that's something that Natasha Denona needs to do, because one of the things why I love her is because the pans are removable, not only because the eyeshadows are great quality. So from the Sunrise palette, I have actually 4 pans, because one of the pans is on my Dream Franken palette. I'm gonna show it to you right now. It's the shade that has the bigger pan that's underneath the black. So I have 4 pans in the Sunrise palette, and this is one that I again think I could have more pan on. So that counts for 13 pans so far. Now I have here the Glam palette, and this one is such a beautiful one. And you can see here 4 pans, but I actually have 6 pans on this one, because 2 of the eyeshadows that I placed on my Dream Franken palette are from this palette. You can see them right here. It's the brown that I have here, and then also the brow bone shade right here. This is the shade Smoke, and this is brow bone. So that counts towards 6 pans from my Glam palette. That means that now I have 19 pans so far. I have here my bronze palette, and this one has 5 pans here, and then the last pan from my Dream Franken palette, it's from this palette, and it's the shade Beach, which is the transition shade that you see that has pan in it right here, this one. So this has actually 6 pans, and that's gonna be 25 pans so far in my entire Natasha Denona collection. So you can see how loved this palette looks, and funny enough, it's not all about the bronzes. I have here brown tones, and then the two grayish, purplish tones have pan in them, and then two of the bronzy colors. This is a beautiful palette. I just love it more as a sister palette than to have a too warm look, because I'm not that into warm looks at the moment. The warmer that I get is just by adding a little bit of orangey or peachy tones to my transition. So yeah, 25 pans so far, and I'm gonna remove the Dream palette because that one doesn't have any pan on its own. I have here my Trio Chrome palette, and this one has right now 3 pans in it and 2 big dips. So in the Trio Chrome shades, these two have dips, but I have 3 pans in the other eyeshadows. So 1 Trio Chrome and then these two. This palette is so beautiful, you guys. The way that I played with it when I was creating my look for the Natasha Denona looks that I'm filming, I'm just obsessed with it. I find this to be so underrated and such a beautiful, colorful, but yet elegant type of palette. And it can be so euphoria, but then at the same time, it can be a little bit more serious and editorial. I don't know. It's just beautiful. So beautiful. So I have 3 pans in it, and that counts to 28, and that makes the count up to 28 pans so far. Another one with 6 pans is one of my favorites, the Tropic palette, and this is just, you guys, so beautiful. For me, it has the best transitions and it has the best mattes for every day, and it has pops of color. It's just one of my favorite palettes for sure. So 6 pans will take us to 34 pans, and I can't believe how many pans I have in my Natasha Denona shadows. But again, this is one of my favorites. The ones that I have 6 pans or more in them are truly ones that when I place the eyeshadows on my Franken palette, I tend to reach for those eyeshadows regardless of the palette that they come from. So that means that even if I place 30 eyeshadows from Natasha Denona, I will choose those eyeshadows to play with. So they grab my attention. That means that when I have so many pans on my Natasha Denona palettes, it's by reaching for the colors without knowing the palette per se, and then I realize that when I place them back into the palette, how many pans belong to an eyeshadow palette, and that means that I end up in a way loving that eyeshadow palette more. One that you saw that I'm working on my Franken palette that has no pan is the Lila, so I'm gonna remove it. Same with the Circle logo, no pans from those two, so I have 34. Another one of my favorites is the Gold palette, and this one again has 6 pans in it. This is so beautiful, you guys, and it's getting so old, but I adore it. This is one of my favorites. It's one of my most special palettes in my entire collection. I wouldn't change it for the world. I think she needs to make this permanent. You can see here that I have major pan in this brown. This is my perfect brown shade, and I know that it's a repeat shade from the Sunset palette, and I also have pan in that one as well. So the palettes that I have duplicates on that I've hit pan on, I almost always have hit pan on, even having the same shade. So yeah, this one is so beautiful. These colors, they look similar, but they're not. I know people were complaining when this palette was released that they look too similar. They look different enough on the eyes, and they create different depth and dimension when you use them with different looks of shimmery shadows. So they have a place in my collection, and I couldn't have enough transitions for the life of me. So yeah, this one and Kaba, which is one of my favorite shades from my entire collection. It's also beautiful, and it has major pan in it. So that makes it 40 pans so far. This is almost the most used and the one that has most pans from my Natasha Denona collection, and it's the Biba palette, and it's no surprise. This is a beautiful palette, neutral. It's just workable. It has the perfect black for me, which is Spot, and I have hit pan in Spot in different occasions because I start to dip my brush in one part and I hit pan on that part, and then I start to dip my brush in another part, since you guys know that I use detailed brushes. So with only one brush, I haven't hit pan the 3 times that I've hit pan on Spot. So it should count as 3 pans. But I have 8 pans in my Biba palette, and this is looking so loved, so used and abused, and you can see spots all of the lines. I have different pants in it, and I know that at some point I will finish that eyeshadow, and I would basically repurchase this palette only for that black eyeshadow. It's so beautiful. I would highly recommend that if you use black eyeshadow to just smudge your liner or just to create a smoky look, you look into Biba, because this black is just, it's just flawless, you guys. It has a cream to powder formula, so it doesn't have that much fallout, and when it has fallout it's easy to remove, and you can use it as a base for a smoky eye. It's just perfection. It's buildable, but it's the blackest black when you use it, and in my opinion this is black. This is more black than the blackest black that she has in her collection, and that comes in the Dream palette. So yeah, 8 palettes, so that makes the count 48 pans so far. Mama! 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 Okay, you guys, so like I was saying before my baby got here, this Safari palette has 4 pans, and that makes it so that we have now 52 pans in my Natasha Denona collection. And these are all matte shades. These are harder to pan, but I've used them as transitions, and this one just as a setting shade, or as a cut crease shade, or as a brow bone shade. But this is a beautiful palette. I don't know why people hate on it. It's not necessarily my favorite because I love a shimmer, but I love it as a collection of singles, and I've mentioned that the entire week every time I mention this palette. For the retro, this is one of my newest palettes in my collection, and it already has 2 pans, and that tells you a lot. So that means that this makes it so that I have 56 pans in my Natasha Denona eyeshadow palette collection, and I think, you guys, that soon I will have another pan, maybe even 2 more, because I truly love this palette and it's pretty functional. Okay, I have here the Natasha Denona Love palette, and even though this is a palette that when I see it, it doesn't really inspire me that much, every time I have the shadows in a Franken palette, I tend to reach for them. And I have hit pan on 6 shades from this 15 pan palette, and that is quite a lot. It puts it up there with my favorite eyeshadow palettes from Natasha Denona. We're going on 54. That makes it for 60 pans in my Natasha Denona eyeshadow palette collection. For 61 pans, I have 1 pan on my Pastel palette, which is one of the newest palettes from this year actually. And I have hit pan in the shade Illusion as an inner corner shade. I don't know if you guys can see the pan. This is a small pan, but it's actually one that I've hit pan on as an inner corner highlight because it has a hint of pink. I'm super happy that even though this is a new palette, it has 1 pan in it. I can't wait to show more love to this one. For the Sandal palette, these I've hit pan in 2 shades, and that makes it so that we're in 63 pans. And the shades that I've hit pan on are no surprise. Brown one, and then also a peachy pink one. Those are my favorite shades to use on an everyday basis. So 63 pans with the 2 pans in the Sandal palette. And I love this one because it has a hint of color, but it's also super wearable at the same time. And it's sort of a softer, colorful palette. I love that this palette has the 2 color schemes in the same palette. I love that you could basically create so many different looks. It's so fire and ice. That's what I feel about it. And it makes it exciting in my collection. I know I could have more pans in it. Now that I placed all of the eyeshadows back on the respective palettes, I know that I can have more pans on this one. Hopefully I will surpass the 70, because I think last time that I did this, that I count them, I was at 60 eyeshadows or 65. You guys, this is the Sunset palette, and this is one of the oldest palettes in my collection, but it has quite a few pans as well. So this one has 6 pans, and again, I've hid them while having them in a Franken palette. That makes it so that we have 69 pans so far, so I know that maybe we could reach 80 pans. That would be super exciting, because one of my private goals, and I've mentioned it before, is to have 100 pans hit in my Natasha Denona collection, and even though I've made it bigger throughout the years, I still want to reach that goal and then put it to 150 or 120. I want to hit at least 25 pans per year in my Natasha Denona collection. So this one has beautiful shades. This is the one that it's a repeat from the gold palette. I just adore this palette, even though I never felt that I adored it, because it has a few of my favorite shades. It has even this bronze color that is beautiful. This gold is one that I would consider a wearable gold. I love this bronzage shade. It's one of my favorites in my entire collection. Then it has this orgasm peachy pink shade that I truly like. This brown right here is stunning. You guys, this color, it's the perfect color for a cut crease because it's a white, but it has a hint of a shimmer underneath it that makes it way more wearable. And it's not like a plain black. It has a little bit of a sheen to it that just makes it a little bit more special. 69 pans so far. Now for the Metropolis palette, you guys, I think this one has four, oh no, it has 6 pans as well. And it has 6 pans in the shades that you would think. So all of the browns, one inner corner highlight and a bronzy shade, more of a copper shade, those have pan in it. So I have 6 pans in these wearable colors right here. This has been used, but you guys, it's not a color story that actually I feel like I use a ton. I've rearranged it before, and I wish that I could just use the eyeshadows on this palette more and show it some more love, because I love the format of a 28 midi palette, but I don't know, I just feel like this is too colorful for me, maybe too many greens. I don't know what it is, but I would love to reach for this one more, since it's a palette that I still see mentioned everywhere. And when it got re-released, I think it got sold out. It's a beautiful, beautiful palette. So 69 eyeshadows and then 6. So we have 75 pans so far. Then I have no pans in my blue purple palette. But the eyeshadow palette that I have more pans that I've hit in my entire Natasha Denona collection is the green brown palette. And this one, you guys, let me count the pans because I think I have 11 pans. Yeah, I have 11 pans on this palette. It has so much love in the entirety of the palette except for these 8 shades right here. I've used everything. I feel like this is just a beautiful everyday palette, and it's also a beautiful bridal palette. When you remove the greens, it's just perfection. But then again, this green right here is like no other green that I have in my collection. It's just so stunning. I'm sorry that I do not use that much green in my everyday looks, but this could be one that could change that and be used as an inner corner highlight because it's a light green with a hint of gold. So you guys, this makes it so that my count is at 86 pans in my Natasha Denona collection, and that means that I'm only 14 pans away to reach my 100 pan goal in my entire Natasha Denona eyeshadow palette collection. That's doable, you guys. 14 pans is not that much. And if I start to, that makes me want to create a Franken palette, because that makes me want to grab the shades that have been used and abused that do not have pan yet and put them together so that I can just hit pan in them. This is why I want for my Level Up project pan to give me a Natasha Denona eyeshadow palette, because if that happens, I will make it my mission, you guys, to hit pan in so many shades that it will just blow my own mind, and maybe yours too. That's it, you guys. The number of pans that I've hit, it's 85 so far. That's all of the pans in my Natasha Denona eyeshadow palette collection. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love these eyeshadow palettes so much, and this is the way your palette should be looking. I always say I'm a makeup artist, but I never use my Natasha Denona eyeshadow palettes in any client. Sometimes in my sister-in-law, but I've done her makeup an X amount of times, and I think I've used 1 or 2 Natasha Denona shadows 2 of those times, and then one time I used it on a dear client that passed away about a year ago. That's it. I never use my Natasha Denona eyeshadows on clients. Maybe I should, because that way I will show them more love, but they're so special to me that I don't think I would ever carry them on my kit. Maybe they would get destroyed, or maybe they would get lost, and it would hurt me so much because I have like a love relationship with these palettes and with these eyeshadows. They are like a treasure to me. So that's it, you guys. Tomorrow will be the last day in my Natasha Denona week series, and I've been actually thinking, since it has been so much work to do the looks with the Natasha Denona palette, and since I have other content that I want to show you, if I will divide the Natasha Denona looks in different weeks, so that you guys can get to enjoy that, but also I can get to upload different content. Let me know what you guys think below, because I have 24 or 23 Natasha Denona palettes, and that would be 23 days every day doing a tutorial. Maybe that would be too much. Maybe I can do 8, and then maybe I can do 10 days first, and then I can do 2 more weeks creating looks. Maybe that would work better, and I would have my Retro Glam palette with me, and that would make it more even. I don't know. Please let me know what your thoughts on this underneath in the comment section below. It would mean the world to me if you can comment and let me know what you think, because that would make it easier for me, and that way I can create other content that I've been dying to show you guys, that it's not Natasha Denona related, or it's not gonna be a tutorial if you don't like watching those. So that's it, you guys. I'm super happy that I decided to do this week. Tomorrow will be the ranking of my entire collection of Natasha Denona palettes, and I will rank them with you. So I will do like a battle between 2 palettes, and I will place them in their respective spots, and then at the end of the video I will show you the order in which they have been organized according to my preference, and I will give you my train of thought while doing so. That way you will see my train of thought while it's happening, while I'm ranking the palettes, and you won't be just seeing the end result, because I think that adds a little bit more richness to the information that I give you guys. So that's it, you guys. If you like Natasha Denona content, stay tuned, because a lot of tutorials are coming your way. You can use them for every day or for glam looks for the holidays. If you like this type of content, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell. I leave a question always in the comment section below so that we can chat. I love you, and I guess I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.